and just really thinking about what's next. But most of the things are in the event space for me. So, whether it's rentals, whether it's decor, whether it's tech, IT, training, education, there are multiple facets of events. So, if there's the hospitality aspect, there's the technical, there's the sound, there's the cinematography aspect, there's the production. The events industry is so large, right? So there's so many things that if you do almost everything, you will be okay. Do you get what I mean? So for me, even if it's teaching, I love to impact, I love to teach, I love to educate. So whether, it is that I am teaching, I'm guiding the next generation to be excellent, to do it right, to learn from the mistakes that we made, to think beyond where they are now and think of that future. So in the event space, I think I'm here.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of To Be Quite Honest, your favorite podcast. And I remain your ever beautiful host, Norma, and of course my co-host, Big Ben.
Hello.
And today we are with an icon. I genuinely don't want to go into it. I'll leave that to Ben because he butchers that. That's his. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about beyond the venue, the business in real estate spaces. And with us, like I said, we have an icon, but let me just give you a bit of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the art of business and, turning everyday spaces into something extraordinary, because joy can be a business model too. So I'll let Big Ben introduce our guest while we're ready to unpack, beyond the venue.
All right, thank you, Norma. I like that statement. Joy can be a business.
Of course.
I can only imagine how interesting such a business would be.
I know, right?
But we don't need to imagine anymore because we have the queen of that industry in here with us.
Right here.
Yes. So we have her profile is quite big because she's done so much, she's seen so much,
she's phenomenal.
So much,
exactly.
And because we're in the business of showcasing greatness from Nigeria and Africa, I would go ahead to read out her profile.
Go ahead.
So please permit me, ma. Camera, don't show her yet. All right. So with us to discuss the business of events in real estate spaces is none other than Mrs. Funke Bucknor. Thank you. Now let me go into the detail.
The profile.
So some of you only know her as, she owns Zafire. That's not everything. You get to know more today. So Funke Bucknor is one of Africa's most iconic event planners and a creative entrepreneur. She's a woman who has turned the business of celebration into a global standard of excellence. She's trained as a lawyer, and she'll tell us why she has left the bar today. And she has made a bold pivot in 2003 to found Sapphire Events, which is now recognized as a pioneering force in event architecture across the continent. I'm sure everybody who's watching this has probably seen one or two high-profile events, that Sapphire has taken care of. We're going to hear more from, where all of that wisdom comes from. So with over 1,500 high-profile weddings, corporate experiences, social events, in her portfolio, Funke has redefined how space, story, and memory intertwine. Now, beyond her influence actually extends, way beyond events. She's a mentor, she's an educator, she's an industry builder, and she has actually trained a lot of people. In fact, I have someone who wants to even get trained by her. So I plan to corner her after the show to get some of that information. And now she doesn't just plan events, she shapes cultures, one unforgettable experience at a time.
Yes.
So please, our subscribers, wherever you are, you're lying down, you're sitting down, you're on the move, just give a clap. Just give a clap to ovation. To one and only Funke Bucknor. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have, such a superstar in that industry, grace us with her presence.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of A-listers in different industries and, yours is not any different.
Yeah.
But my very first question to you, right? I mean, the legal profession is one that everybody carries on their head. Many parents want their kids to be lawyers.
Yeah.
But here we have a lawyer who has sort of branched out of that. And it's just something more interesting. So what was the reason for that transition? We can start from there.
Wow. Thank you, first of all, for having me.
We love having
Thank you. I like the way you read my profile. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that from you later. I like the way you read it. Anyway, so I think for me, studying law was I would say, my parents' dream.
Okay.
Because, then, of course, during our own generation, you had to have a professional course.
Yeah.
So that you're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an accountant, an architect, So I just chose what I thought was the easiest, which was law. Because initially I wanted to study mass communication. But my parents said you had to study, something that was professional.
Yeah.
So I chose law. But while I was in University of Lagos, I just didn't enjoy it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So as soon as I finished in university, I got into Nigerian law school. And at that time, I still felt there was just something missing. I knew that I wasn't going to practice law, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, but while I was there, and, sometimes they say that your passion or the things that you've always done when you were younger, comes to play when you're older. So when I was younger, I was always the life of the party. I was always an organizer, bubbly, jovial, just making sure everybody's having fun together.
Yeah.
So I did that in university, did that in, law school. But while I was in law school, my friends were getting married, after law school. And I said, let me help you. Let me do this. Let me do that. And that's really how I moved into the event industry.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So you had just stated how you moved into the event industry.
Yeah.
When did you then realize that this could actually become like a full-fledged business? Like, yeah, you were helping your friends.
Yes.
That was just you going out of your way because that's the type of person you are.
Yeah.
So when did you actually say, I can actually, do this and make money out of it?
Yeah.
Not like a hobby and not as you helping, just
So I would say
stream of
that,
income.
and this is also where people come in,
Yeah.
people that kind of encourage you and even see what you don't see. So my cousin was the one that said, Funke, you enjoy doing this. Why don't you start charging?
Wow.
And I thought, will Nigerians pay? He said, try. And that was it. So I just told someone, I said, you know what, my fee is this. And they said, okay, can we pay this? And I said, okay. And I just thought, wow, they're paying.
Wow.
And that was just how we started, honestly. And this was in 2002. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Honestly, just by starting something you love, it becomes
Yes.
And really, many people have started that way. Something
course.
that starts
A
as a
passion.
hobby,
Yeah.
Yes.
a passion, something you've always done on the side. Something you could even do for free for other people.
Exactly.
And then before you find that you're able to build something big.
And I think that's why in this industry you are a pioneer because, like you said, 2002. I don't think anybody would have thought. Like you might have said there might have been other people, but you've taken it and done something more grand with it. Honestly, we commend you for your work.
Thank you very much.
So who are the people, when you were starting to, make this into a big business, who are the people who you looked up to? Who are the people who inspired you, as you sought to, make this into something
thank
big?
you. So, first of all, one of my colleagues in the industry, Lara Akiosho, of Just Weddings,
Okay.
I'd started just before I started, and I did, speak to her, just to get some advice.
Yeah.
Just I think I want to do this, and what do you think? And she was like, oh, go for it. And then of course people internationally, because there were not many people in Nigeria that were doing this. Of course.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people, international event planners that we looked up to that had been doing this. Mindy Wise, Preston Bailey, Colin Cowie, quite a lot of them that had been doing this before us, and we had read about them, we had seen them in magazines. Then the internet was not the way it was now.
Yeah.
So you had to go to a business center to check, watch a movie, and also watch the movie The Wedding Planner by J-Lo. That also inspired me to say, this is what I've been dreaming about. Oh my God, I can do this. So that was it. So I was inspired by those guys in the industry. And then of course by other people that were in business, that had started a business, but like I was a young girl. I didn't even really know that the business would become this big. I just loved it. I just had the passion. I was like, I'm creating value. I'm helping people take the stress off them.
Yeah.
I'm helping them plan something. I'm creating, something really big. And it just started growing and growing. So so the people that inspired me were all those people I kind of mentioned and more.
I can only imagine because planning an event, people think it's just
a lot.
Like I can only imagine the inspiration that you have to. Because let's just say now, I want to do my wedding. I come and meet you. I want to do my wedding. I don't really know. You put it it's like as if you take the person's day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You make it your day.
Yes.
Just so that you envision what they want. Because I recently saw one of your work. that you did. I don't want to mention any of your clients' name, but I was just so blown away with the way the execution of that, like, and I could see the joy on the couple's face and how they just kept singing your praises. I also saw you in like some clips. I don't want to say the name, but you know, it's just the inspiration behind it all. Talk us through, like, how do you get inspired to, put your best foot forward?
I like inspiration.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that we need to acknowledge is that God has given everybody is giving us creativity, is giving us inspiration.
Yeah.
God, us having God, just God is the creator.
Yeah.
So all of us, we are creative. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
But what it is for me is also the ability to work with different people, and different people bring different ideas. So it's not just one idea from me. It is like a whole team of people. So down to the vendors you're working with in terms of the decor, vendors you're working with in terms of,
Sound.
maybe, drinks, whatever you're doing, whatever you need, wardrobe, everything. So the key thing is your client comes to you, whether it's a wedding, it's a birthday, whether it's a corporate event, and they say to you, this is our vision. So understanding that vision, interpreting it, so you sit down and say, how can we interpret this vision? What do we need to interpret this vision?
Yeah.
So understanding that brief, understanding what you need, the people you need, where you need to go, how you need to execute it.
Yeah.
Those are the things that actually inspire. Another thing that also inspires is also that I get inspiration from everywhere. So I can be walking down the streets and I think, oh my God, this would be a great idea. This wall can become green tomorrow. That shoe can be what we put on top of a door. So it's just to say that everywhere, its inspiration comes from everywhere. So it could be from a book, it could be from a magazine, it could be working, it could be outdoors, it could be when you're sleeping, it could be when you're writing, it could be with people. But the thing is, no idea is a rubbish idea. You just have to, you can implement, you can rework an idea, you can change the status quo. The key thing is, whatever you're doing, you just have to be bold.
Yeah.
Be bold, be confident, take risks. Sometimes you're wondering, will this work? And of course you will fail, would you understand? But that boldness really, really helps. So I think that inspiration comes from above, it comes from everything around, it comes from people. I'm a big believer in engaging people, listening to people, asking questions. Oh my God, I can ask questions for Africa. So just, ask and, that's it. So that's how you're able to create memories for people. Yes.
And to be fair, you don't even look like someone that runs events. Let me know who, like, because you see some people when they are like in events, is that maybe their cap is at the back? Nigeria has stressed them. They tell you, artisans are killing me. Oh my God, artisans. So how do you deal with, because honestly, we're singing the joy of it. We want to know the hard parts of it. How do you deal? Because even if as much as you're a people's person, there are people that will still stress you.
Oh, of course.
So
Traffic
how?
in Lagos,
Of course. Life, you see. I've got joy in chaos. Thank you. You know that song now?
Yeah, sure.
Fantastic. That's it. That's my, just say, God, I got joy in chaos. So the thing is, as an event person, or even as an entrepreneur, right? The life has challenges. You are going to be dealing with people that don't even understand some of the things that you are sharing.
Yeah, your vision.
So that's why it's so important that you have people that are like-minded, first of all. So when you are working, you make sure that the people that are working with you are people that share the same values as you. Now, but let's assume that they even share the same values, but life gets in the way. So as you said, traffic, somebody, a truck breaks down. You had a plan to get into the hall at 2 a.m. You don't get into the hall until 7 a.m. How do you deal with making sure that the client's dream comes true? So the first thing I always say to anyone is, you have to first of all try and be calm. You need to be calm. Now, calmness means different things to different people.
I agree.
So you calm. You can come here and, there's a way you behave, but when you get into the corner, you're like, how can I solve this? So that ability to be calm, to be resourceful, very important. Who can, we've had done an event before, generators broke down, 2 generators.
Wow.
What do you do? How do you deal with that? So there was no power for a while. But guess what? Made a call, to someone, and the person just brought a generator for us without collecting a dime.
Wow.
So that's also relationship. So being resourceful, building relationships, being calm, thinking of a solution. So it's, a lot of times I always tell people that think of a plan B, C, D. Be solution driven. Some people are just chaotic driven, causing problem. You know, you want to be solution driven. Okay, this has happened. How can we deal with it? Stop playing the blame game. A lot of time, oh my God, forget. Let us get the client's vision out. Let us execute. Then when we are done, we can go and be fighting ourselves at the back. And it was one of my pastors that said this, and you know, I'm very big on that. My pastor said, let's not finish a program and let there be blood in the room. Or let there be blood in the water. Let us finish a program and there's love.
I agree.
No, so that's how I see it. Let's finish an event and we have done it with love. Even if we have quarreled, even if we have, shouted on each other. The end goal is that we want to create something beautiful. We want our clients to be happy. So how do you achieve that? You achieve that by working together as one, by being united, by understanding that all of us, we are only as big as our strengths. We all have weaknesses. We all can't get it right. But what can we do to get it right? So how do I begin to mitigate these risks? So we have a crisis management plan, a risk management plan to say, okay, if this happens, for example, we did an event over the weekend. It was outdoor and it rained. And you're thinking, but there's really nothing because the client didn't want you to have tents. So, okay, what's your plan B? Okay, we'll do it like this. Okay, we'll start a bit later. Let's communicate to the guests. Let's do this. And that happened, and the event was glorious. By the time the song came out, everybody was happy. But guess what? Things like that, who would have thought it would rain in October? Do you understand what I'm just trying to say? So, a lot of times is to really think about the key thing that must be at the back of everybody's mind is the client's vision. How can we make it right? How can we execute? That is, for me, is a key thing. So even if everywhere is chaotic, even where things are going wrong, where a caterer that told you she's bringing food for 1,000, but food for 500, or you thought you were planning an event for 500 people and 2,000 people show up, how do you deal with that? So sometimes, but there are times that you can't even have a solution for one or two things. So what can you make work? So a lot of times I always say that, what can go right? Let's think about 50 things that can go right instead of thinking of the one thing that went wrong. What 50 things went right? So that's how I'm able to deal with it.
I'm actually interested in that part where you spoke about the outdoor events, in the rainy season and all that. So I hear that event planners usually engage these rain stoppers.
Rain stoppers.
Yeah, do you
believe in that?
I just pray. We don't pray to God Almighty. I have only Jesus. I don't go to my Jesus and say, Father, help us.
Wow. All right, so my next question will be that, event planning sits at the intersection between real estate and hospitality because you do a lot of architecture.
Yes.
If I may, sometimes you're thinking of how
build things from scratch.
A building can be redesigned, how a space can be, redesigned and all of that. From the time you started till date, how have these industries, right? Evolved over time? What are the things you struggled with back then, that have now, become
made
like
easy.
common?
Fantastic. That's a good one. Of course, when we started, the events, the venues were very limited. So at first, when we started, most people were using outdoor, just maybe outdoor, in front of your house and things. Then it evolved to some certain event centers, right? And they were just you just had maybe one. There was one in Unicorn then. You had one in Unilag. There were just 2 or 3 venues that were available then, and they were basic, right? Because it was not at that time. People were not really thinking about so many things. So the industry has evolved. So as the industry has evolved, event centers, locations, buildings have now started evolving. So now you're having purpose-built event spaces, are taking into consideration kitchens, taking into consideration people working, hanging lights, sound in the ceiling, lighting effect. Before you had to bring everything in. So some venues now are now inbuilt, and all that. So, and that is also making the work easier. Screens are there already, things like that. So I think that has really, really helped. One of the things that we are still lacking is that, large venues that can really take that have that capacity to take a large number of people.
Like
so
what
we don't have a
number?
lot. No, I mean, we don't have a lot of venues that can take more than 3,000, 4,000. It's only limited to certain,
Yes,
and it's
very
only maybe
few.
one place. So those people are missing that. And then, of course, even venues that are also intimate, that are also smaller. So we have in between, if you get what I mean. We don't have that. We don't have the small ones. And then we don't have a lot of outdoor beautiful spaces, landscape. Where you go, when you go abroad and you're doing a wedding destination, and it's oh my God, the greens, look at the way the floor, we don't really have that here. So, and that's just because I would say maybe because of lack of space, lack of, I also think that, we were not thinking of those things when the country or whatever was developing. So now, it's almost like you are trying to now catch up and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is what we now need. How do we find it? Where do we find it? Do we find it even outside Lagos?
Yes.
Right? Are there places? So of course, with that, you now begin to think of security, infrastructure, transportation, logistics. There's a lot. That kind of thing. So it's just, but right now, I would say to people, what you have, what are you doing with it? Instead of complaining, use what you have to create something really magical and different.
I like in listening to you talk, I can see the passion. There's still so much passion in this. I'm telling you, I'm just like so like I'm just looking at you and I'm like, this passion. I don't think this fire is there anytime soon. But let's just do a little so if like the passion is blowing my mind. What do you ever think that you would delve from event planning? Like, do you think you're going to retire here?
Events?
Yes.
So, I think that for events, there are very multiple facets of it.
Yeah.
And I think I will retire in events, definitely. One thing that has been good, in the last few years is that I have been building, really thinking about succession, right? And just really thinking about what's next. But most of the things are in the event space for me. So, whether it's rentals, whether it's decor, whether it's tech, IT, training, education, there are multiple facets of events. So, there's the hospitality aspect, there's the technical, there's the sound, there's the cinematography aspect, there's the production. The events industry is so large, right? So there's so many things that if you do almost everything, you will be okay. Do you get what I mean? So for me, even if it's teaching, I love to impact, I love to teach, I love to educate. So whether, it is that I am teaching, I'm guiding the next generation to be excellent, to do it right, to learn from the mistakes that we made, to think beyond where they are now and think of that future. So in the event space, I think I'm here. I'm here for a while. That's what I mean.
We love having you here, Seth.
But what is good is that when you build a good team, when you empower your team, and you don't make it all about yourself. I always say to people that we build stars. We don't build superstars, but we build stars. Everybody's a star. I'm a star. My team members are stars. We're all stars. No one is a superstar because we're all working. We're all working hard. But the good thing is that the brand has built a reputation, right, over the years of doing great work, of providing value, of excellence, of building relationships, of creating joyful moments. So that brand the name is so heavy that even for the people that work with us or my team, it is about building on that reputation. So you have to continue to train, you have to continue to guide, you have to continue to motivate, mentor, and whether, even if you're not in the event space, entrepreneurship, because the event industry, planning, already a business, being a founder, being a leader, being a CEO for over 23 years, you're also an entrepreneur. You are also someone that is also teaching people that, what, you can run a business. This is how it is. And the what's it called? The principles is still the same. For any business, it's still the same. Yes.
So now I'm actually curious about the business model of events planning. I mean, is it what she even doing? Say, I can do this thing now, and then
they go and do their own and start their own.
Of course.
The sky is big enough now. But
have you dealt with that?
So, look, I think that at the early stages, and when you are running a business and you are in leadership, right? Maturity also plays a role.
Yeah.
So as you are young, I mean, 25, 24, 23 years old, 22, there's only so much you know. Luckily for me, I was able to go to Faith Foundation. I was able to go to LBS, EDC at early stages. I'm very big on education. And I learned a lot. At the beginning stages, when people were leaving, when people would come, maybe 1 month, 3 months, and say, I'm going to go and start my own business and everything. I used to get a bit upset with that. I thought, even after sending somebody abroad for training, sending you to America, London, what do you mean?
Not to live like that.
Exactly. And just
You feel so invested in person's life.
You.
Like, what?
But then I realized that people will always leave. Everybody has different parts of life. So what you need to do is that you just train, invest, train people, invest in them, let them know that you care. And, let there just be an open door. I've had people leave and come back to say sorry. I've had people leave and maybe 5 years after, we become best friends. I've had people leave and I've re-employed them. And they are running the various other businesses that the company has. Wow. So people have left, but the good thing is that as much as possible, we've always tried to make it not toxic. So it's good relationships. Some people have left. I have people that have left that have relocated. They're in different parts of the world. And they are the ones that will be calling me to tell me about something that they're recommending us for. And I'm also recommending them for something. Wow. So I think that people, usually when people are somewhere, they don't know the work that it entails. They don't know the back end. You don't know the investment, the CEO and the leader is, puts it into the business. So you just think, it's okay. Let me go and make my own money. But there's a lot of mental strength you need. There's a lot of physical strength. There's a lot of relationship. Thank you. I mean, that you have to do to even ensure that the business is still standing. There's a lot of delayed gratification. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of, to God be the glory, we've never owed salaries. We've always paid. We have never owed. But there's a lot of sacrifice of that. There are times that we've made a loss and we can't even pay. But you know what? We're going to pay this salary no matter what. I'm not going to let people go away thinking we can't pay the salaries. So we've been able to do that. We've dug deep. Do you understand what I mean? And then there's corporate governance that also teaches you that you cannot run a business like a one-man business. You're right. Do you understand? So all those things are things I've learned. So yes, I've had people go, but they have become my best friends, today. There are people that I shout. Even they will be shouting on the rooftop. When I was at Zafire, I was saying, when they were at Zafire, but as I say, maturity, has really played a role in understanding that people have different parts. People have different visions for their lives. Some will be with you 15 years, 30 years. Some will say, look, I think, I remember someone in the office who I thought would be with us for a really long time. Wow. But she relocated. Life happened. And, we cried. It was sad. But that was it. She just had to leave. There was nothing we could do about that. So I learned that people should just know that you care for them, invest in them, train them, build, but, apply a lot of emotional intelligence. As a business owner, even for me, when I started, passion really was driving me. So when you're very passionate sometimes, people may see it as you can be too harsh or you're too strict, and all that. And I just said to myself, okay, you know what? I think people think I'm too strict. Let me use emotional intelligence to build. So I had to start making people know that I cared about them. I cared though, but I never showed it. Because I'm like, let's just get this work done. Love. But I started showing them. I started, being invested in their families, how they felt, what was important to them. When I saw that people were sad or they needed a break, I would say, take a week off before. Because I work every day. I don't take a week off. So I'm like, which week? What are you doing? But mental health. I say, okay, help me a break. It's okay, go and take a week off. You need time to focus. So, but what was key was understanding them, seeing them. Somebody that was very productive. Why are they not productive tomorrow? What's going on? Oh my God, their mommy is ill. Something's happening at home. But for me, if my daddy's ill or my mom, you won't know. You won't even know. I'll be working. I don't.
Yeah, because it's your passion.
That was me exactly. But I had to understand that our people. So so that has helped me.
Interesting.
Every step we take, every way we live should be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. Now, if you're looking for a community that offers all these with infrastructure and the right amenities for you and your family to thrive, look no further than Mixta Africa Estates. Now, Mixta Africa, over the last 20 years, has basically been provided the kind of community, over 15 estates with 5,000 housing units that people have been thriving in. Look forward to welcoming you in one of our Mixta estates.
So the business of events have evolved dramatically. What does it, drastically rather?
Yeah.
What does it take? What advice would you say? You know, you've run this business for 2 decades.
Yes.
What advice would you give to stay relevant in this, industry?
Wow, I love this question because it's such a really valid question. I think that relevance, first of all, is you have to know who you are in your business. Authenticity is very important. I know that people use the word a lot, but it's very important to know who what your business is about. What is your brand positioning? Then when you begin to understand that, and then of course you have built on excellence, you have built on value, you want to deliver the best, then you now begin to look at how do you continue to reinvent yourself? How do you continue to reinvent the business? Because people change. Tastes change. Lifestyle changes. So how do you reinvent? What somebody that was 18 when you were planning? I mean, I remember a girl that I planned a birthday when she was 10. And then we're planning a wedding. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I did your 10th birthday. But for her to see that we're still relevant when she was 10, and we're planning our wedding when she's 25, then there must be something we're doing right. So it's important that you reinvent. Don't say this is how we've always done it. Stay humble. Keep on learning. Education is and then stay ahead. Always think about what's the next thing. What can we do? How can we improve? Always improve. Always look at yourself and say, oh, you're only as good as the last event you did. What can you do better tomorrow? Creative. Continue to be creative. And don't forget to build relationships. Hold on to relationships. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, relationships are more important than process for me. A lot of people think it's about process. I said, no, it's about relationship. The client comes back to you over and over again. There's something. So you must harness relationship, build it, hold on to that, and just do the best. Put your best foot forward all the time. Do the very best. Give it your all. I know I talk about the Bible a lot, but the Word of God says that do whatever you're doing as if you're doing it unto the Lord. So when you're doing something unto the Lord, you give it your best, don't you? So wherever you are, whatever you've been given, whatever's in your hands, just put your very best in it. And of course, there are times that you will fail. There are times that you will make mistakes. There are times that you will not get it right. There are times that you are not going to be somebody's cup of tea. The key thing is to bounce back. The key thing is to say, what did I learn from this failure? What did I learn from this mistake? How can I correct it? What should I do tomorrow to make it better? And just be you. I think be authentically you. Oh my God, be you. So that's it.
This is interesting. Your energy is actually contagious. I can feel it right here.
That's what I'm going to write now.
Yes, be you.
But speaking about failures, I'm thinking of all the events you have planned over the years. Can you tell us? I want to believe that there has been one where something spectacularly happened. Failed, yeah. So what was
for 2 decades? I don't know whether she will have. Okay,
no, it's more than one,
of course. But is there like one that
or maybe one or
your
two?
Best story to tell?
Yeah, I would say that one for me was an event that we planned a few years ago, and we did not understand the dynamics of the family, and because of that, we went in very blindly.
Wow,
and we were only seemed to be supporting one side. And there were just many issues. And at the end of the day, that event did not go as well as we thought it should have gone. So I felt really bad. My team felt bad. And, but after a while, we were able to redeem ourselves years after, with the same client, and we're able to now do more events for them. So we've done events that have failed. We've done events because you see, sometimes what the client's vision may be different from how you execute it. So the client wanted it a certain way, or things happen. Things happen. We've done an event before where maybe the number of guests that were expected was maybe 500. You had maybe 800, 1,000. what you catered for, the food wasn't enough.
Yeah.
You know, we've had those kind of events. We've had events where the clients have said, oh, this decor was below my expectation. You know, so all kinds of things. So we've done it. You know, do you understand? So, but the key thing is just to say, what could we learn from it? What should we have done better, you know, next time? So for me, that event of family dynamics, I've now said, you know what, I'm going to understand the family.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, now people say we are experts at being diplomatic because we understand everything. If you're having issues, we get it. So that one taught me.
Like even down to understanding what's your own business. You want to just do your job and go, but you have to understand family dynamics.
Because really, celebrations many times bring families together.
Yes. So funerals, weddings.
Yeah, especially.
You have family issues.
And you know, we're like a country where in Nigeria, everybody's family, as long as I'm at the event.
Exactly.
Like as long as I'm this one, because I'm not wearing clothes.
Exactly.
But I'm here. So they'll go and meet the person. They say, no, man, they say we should give this person. Say, but am I not here? That's where problem will now start.
Exactly. So whether it's a wedding, funeral, even in corporate, in corporate events, you have to understand the stakeholders as well. You know, we've even done an event, a corporate event where we did not vet. So the MC came with another MC, and we did not vet the other MC, and the MC went and started cracking some jokes. And ever since that time, I now look at my event flow like as if it is gold. This was about 10 years or 12 years ago.
I can only imagine.
Yes, and the client said, oh, we're not going to work with you anymore. Blah, blah, blah. You know, and we didn't work with that client for years.
Wow.
But after a while, they came back and everything. But I'm just saying that sometimes, and then you lose clients. You know, when things like that, something that somebody else would think, but what's the big deal? So the client, it was a big deal.
Yeah, because
what were you doing
exactly? And you can't
exactly
your audience.
Exactly. So that's it. So, but the key thing, as I keep on saying, is do not let failure define you. Do not let your mistakes define you. Just go back. Even if you want to go back and cry, you want to wallow in self-pity. You want to, there was a time, I remember my late pastor, I did plan an event for his wife and her family, and it was a failure as far as I was concerned. And this was maybe about 18 years ago, 19. Wow. And I ran away. You know, yes, when I say run away, I would not come. When I come to church, I will go like this.
So that they don't see you.
Yes. One day, just saw me, dragged me. He said, Bucky, you will, why are you running? I said, sir. He said, dust yourself up.
Wow.
You failed. I beg. You are going to even fail tomorrow, sir. Yeah. And that was it.
Wow.
You know, so that's why I must say that as well, that it's also important to have good people around you, good voices, people that will lift you up, people that will encourage you, people that will even criticize you, give you good, constructive criticism, but they are guiding you. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm a big believer in coaches, mentors, people that will guide, advise. You know, I don't say to anybody, oh, I can't learn. I learn from the young and I learn from the old. You know, so yeah, that's it.
So the wealth of experience you've gathered over the years, because I feel like you're one of those people who is uniquely positioned to, you know, produce like a book or something. Do you have that in the pipeline?
Oh, yes. A book, all kinds of things, different things. Books, or even books.
Books, right?
Yes, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Please, when you do a book, also do an audio book, because I would like to listen to your
to
energy.
my voice.
When
when understood. They said.
Because your energy is so contagious. It's a ball. I can only imagine like people that work with you, honestly, like.
I'm too energetic for them.
Yes. And really, these are pretty much common themes.
Common things.
You know, from really successful people we have spoken to. Resilience, that energy.
Yeah.
Whether it's a podcast, right here, you're not even planning any event, but we can feel the energy.
Yes.
So I can only imagine what happens when you're talking to all the vendors and, you know, putting everything together.
Because even any vendor that wants to be a weapon formed against you, by the time they come and hear you, they say, this woman, I can't try. I cannot be the weapon formed against this woman.
All right, so where do you see the events planning business going in the next 5, 10, 15 years? Over the last 2 decades, it has evolved in so many ways.
Yes.
Where do you see the new frontier of it being heading to?
I think that, you know, when people ask me that question, to be very truthful, I can't imagine 15 years, 20 years. What I just imagine is an industry that understands that the clients are important.
Yeah.
Experiences are key for the guests, for people, but without losing the values, without losing the reason why we're doing it. The reason why we're doing it is to bring joy into people's lives. It's not about a cutthroat, about just money. It's about giving people what they pay for and over-delivering. So over-delivering, of course, people talk about technology. Technology is already helping. So technology is coming to enhance, to make us more efficient.
Yeah.
When, people will say that, for events, you need people. People will say, oh, you do events without people. I said, no, you need people. So you're still going to have a lot of people. You're still going to be people inspired or people focused in events, right? But I see an industry that will evolve in how we do things.
Yeah.
So, maybe from doing events of 1,000, we can do something of 100 and make it personalized. We're already doing all that as well, creating more experiences for people. So people come to an event. It's not just about A, B, C. It's about A, A1, A2, B, C, like that. And then there's experience being created. I see a future where people in the event industry, are also very, I would say, united, working together, because it's a very fragmented industry at the moment. But I know that we are all trying to really work together. Then I also see an industry where people in other states, right, understand that everybody's developing and we create experiences for each other wherever we are, that. And then, of course, even taking it very global, like taking what we do globally. Now people are planning events all over the world and they want the Nigerian touch in it. So just showcasing that, positioning ourselves globally, branding ourselves properly, and evolving, when you talked about evolving. So just really evolving. I just feel like we must never stay stagnant. We must just evolve because generation is changing. What my children like is different from what I liked, what my parents liked. So
finally, I'd also like to find out we've built the Lakwelix Golf and Country Estate.
Yes.
And today it's one of very few available destinations.
Destination, yes.
That is in Lagos.
Yes, in Lagos. Yes.
So what's your experience, organizing events in Lakwelix?
So it's a beautiful space.
Thank you.
Very beautiful.
Thank you.
Very well thought through.
Yeah.
In terms of you can have your event, the space is there. You can either put a tent on the garden, you can have it in the hall, you can have it over the water, and you can make it a destination. You can stay in the hotel, in the rooms, and all that. So it's always very nice, a very lovely location.
Thank you.
And then the green, the water, and all that. We just have to, make sure that people really know. Just advertise it more in terms of just create that public so that people know. And when you're trying to do you're doing a destination event, or even if it's not destination, you're doing an event. You understand? You're doing whether it's 300, 200, 500, 1,000, you can go there and do it. That kind of thing. So it's it's a very beautiful space.
Thank you so much.
Very, very well thought through.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm sure our CEO will be watching when it comes out. He'll be smiling because we used to call it West Africa's best kept secret.
Yes,
that's what we used to call it.
And people who have had their weddings done there, the reviews from them have been really amazing.
Yes, really lovely. Yes.
And a lot of Nigerians have actually returned from diaspora to come and have their weddings down in Lakwelix.
Yes.
That's something
because
we're really proud of.
If you live in maybe in London or wherever, how do you transport how many? Do you know Nigerians and you don't invite me to your daughter's wedding and we're friends, we're fighting the next day. But honestly, Miss Funke, it's been a ball of energy having you in the studio. It's been we've learned a lot. It's been Ben, you do the thing where before we end the show now.
Okay, so there's this culture we have before we end the show. We would ask you to complete a phrase.
Okay.
So the name of our podcast is To Be Quite Honest. So we want you to end it with anything, any message you want to pass across to other younger.
You could infuse it with events. Anything that has to do with events, you could infuse it with, but just be free.
Okay,
so
thank
it goes
you.
like this.
Okay.
So to be quite honest, then you can now finish.
Okay, fantastic. So I should say it now.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, fantastic. So to be quite honest, I would just say that life has its ups and downs. And what is very important is that the resilient spirit, our mind, understand that when the life is down, It's just a season, and that season will pass.
Yes, that season will pass.
Yes.
I hope our viewers are hearing, because even as me and Ben are sitting here, you don't know whether we have ups and downs, but that season will pass.
Yes.
And
Thank
on
you
that
so
note,
much.
we want to say a very big thank you.
Thank you.
Funke Bucknor for gracing us with her presence, for sharing all of these gems with us. Before you all get to watch it, we are super inspired here. Like,
honestly,
I feel really charged.
Yeah.
Her energy has, has charged up this room, to be honest.
I'm so glad that I was able to, be in the presence of you. It was really amazing. And to our listeners at home, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.